We are live. Welcome back to another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. My name is Nicholas Earle, and as always, as you can see, it's not Tim next to me today. I got a special guest for today's Sunday slate. We got Nick Parsons over on the Insiders Room. How you doing so far this morning?
Not so bad this morning. Coming off a really crummy Saturday, though. So, hey, we're playing some catch-up here on Sunday. I came into Saturday on an 8-0 run, and unfortunately, I went 0-5, man. And I mean, if you were to say, hey, listen, I had an 8-5 day, you would just be loving it. That would be fantastic. And so, hey, if we can bounce back here, then this really will be a good week. And so I'm definitely looking to do that here on the Earle Sports Bet Show as well. We'll break down these games.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely – I definitely understand that. I don't remember my exact record yesterday, but I think I want to say 22 plays yesterday for college football, and I may have walked away with 7 wins. So I totally understand where you're at. I had a lot of big favorites like Florida and Army that couldn't even win the game outright. And UCF, I had UCF minus 16.5. They lose that straight up to Navy. It was just a very ugly day. And there was a few leans that, of course, I didn't bet because the ones I leaned on, I didn't bet, and they win. The ones I do bet, that's the way it happens sometimes. But, yeah, there's one way you can balance out a bad college football is obviously doing good in NFL, and I definitely have some spots I do like on the slate. I wasn't a huge fan of this card overall, but I did get around to a decent amount of plays. And I had a few plays that I did kind of like that I ended up staying off of because one thing I refused to do is bet against our team circa picks. And I had a couple plays I liked that were opposite sides of some circa picks that I just didn't touch because I didn't want to bet against those because that's an important contest to me at least. So
absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll hop right into today's slate. We're going to be starting it off here. Not the greatest of matchups here. Washington football team at the Atlanta Falcons here. Washington 1.5-point favorites on the road here in Atlanta, around a plus 105, plus 107 run back here with the Falcons. We're looking at a total of 47.5. Anything you want to get started on this game?
So I do have a pick on this game over at picksandparleys.net. And so I do have a play on the side here. As you said, I mean, this is a game that's not really going to be on too many people's radars. With a spread like this, the odds makers are trying to make us believe that these teams are really evenly matched. And I guess they probably are. I think that probably Atlanta has the small advantage at quarterback, and Washington probably has the small advantage at every other aspect of the game through all 3 phases other than the quarterback position. As far as the total is concerned, obviously this total, it's pretty low. Or actually, it's not that low. 47.5. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's because they know that these two teams, that they're pretty desperate, obviously, for a win here, 1 and 2. Neither defense has been as sharp as, I mean, Atlanta's defense was horrible last year. Washington's strength this season, even with their starting quarterback, was supposed to be their defense. Yeah, Fitzpatrick, Washington. So far, that really hasn't been the case. I'd be tending to lean to the over here a little bit. I mean, it opened at 49. It's since come down to 47.5. I know that these two teams, when you look at them, you're not known for their offense here. But, yeah, a couple of crummy defenses, 2 teams really desperate in need for a victory here. And so, I mean, Washington, yeah, it's 0-3 against the spread, 1-2 straight up. Atlanta 1-2 straight up, 1-2 against the spread. These are 2 teams that definitely need a win here at 1-3. I mean, neither of these teams are. I mean, they had such a long shot to even make the playoffs. I guess Washington, the only thing that it had going for it was the division that it's in, the NFC East. So, yeah, my early thoughts on this one are leaning to the over as far as the total is concerned. And as I say, I do have a play on this one over at Picks and Parleys.
Yeah. Looking at this one here, we do have 2 teams that are in desperate need of wins. Washington, I think, a little bit less so because they are in the NFC least, where the Eagles and the Giants, the only team that's looking halfway decent in that division is the Cowboys, which I don't think they're going to keep that up the entire season. Personally, for me, I had this game power ranked Washington 1.5 favorites, and that's exactly what it is. The only way I got to this game at all is I think in a couple 6-point teasers, I have the Falcons all the way up to 7.5. I feel like that was the only way I personally could get into this game. Both these teams have been struggling. And I think the only reason why the Falcons are not completely winless right now is they did play a Giants team, which is not really that great this year. That was their only win. I mean, they got beat pretty bad against Philadelphia 32-6 in week number 1. Tom Brady had his way with them in week number 2, 48-25. So I can see a potential over in this game. I don't trust either of these defenses particularly. I know Washington has had a tough start to their schedule, though, offensive-wise. They played the Bills last week, which did whatever they wanted to against a defense that we're expecting to be one of the tops in the NFL. So overall here, the only plays I have on this one are 6-point teasers towards the Falcons up to 6 or 7.5. And I didn't really get involved in this game other than that, though.
Yeah, good breakdown there on all of those points for sure.
Yeah, heading over to the chat here. Tim saying, good morning. Go do what you're supposed to be doing. I think you're supposed to have phones out. Your opinions on the under Washington or the Falcons, or Washington and Falcons?
Well, we were both saying there that we think we like the over.
Yeah, at that point, I can see a 28-20 type of game in this one, and you hit the over. Nathan Cerna saying Bucks 31-17. We'll get to that one. That's the last game we're going over today. Marco saying, what's up? Let's get this cash today. Hit the like, people. Hit the like button, people. Show some appreciation. Share and subscribe and share. It's football Sunday, my favorite betting day of the week until basketball starts. I'm not a huge fan of basketball. I'm more ready for hockey to start.
Oh, I can't wait for both of those. Absolutely. And college basketball.
Waiting. Okay, you're good then. You're good. All right, moving on to the next game here. And I feel like this is the closest we have today to a 1-800-GAMBLER game. Mm-hmm. But I really like this game. The Bears are 3-point favorites at home against the Detroit Lions. A total of 41 in this game. We're seeing around a plus 130 run back here with the Detroit Lions. Lions, a heartbreaking loss last week. A game that they could have won against the Baltimore Ravens if it wasn't for the fact that Justin Tucker is the best kicker we've seen in the NFL. Detroit 0-3 heading into this game. Chicago 1-2. Chicago coming off of probably one of the worst performances we've ever seen. I want to say one of the most inept performances where they got all of, I believe it was 47 yards of total offense. And looking at this game here, I think this is a decent buy low spot on the Chicago Bears. After what we saw last week, they're now at home. They're getting a much better matchup versus a poor Detroit defense. Sorry, Detroit Lenny. Lions don't have a good defense. And I think this is a get-right spot here for the Bears. They're going to have Justin Fields starting. So I think that they can get some offense going in this game. I actually have 2 plays on this one. I went just straight minus 145 on the Bears. Didn't feel like laying the 3 points because I can see this being a closer game than people think. I also have their team total over 22.5. I think 23-17 is within the cards in this game. And I think this is a spot where the Bears, everybody's low on. There's a couple teams today that I kind of like that I know that a lot of people are going to be either on the opposite side or just extremely low on based on how they've looked the last few weeks. The Bears are definitely one of those teams that check that box, kind of like what Jacksonville did on Thursday night where they were able to cover the spread. I believe this is another spot where the Bears are a team that everybody's low on them, and this is a nice little bounce back spot for them here against a really good opponent, or a really good opponent to bounce back against. No, they're not a good opponent. They're a good matchup is what I meant to say. And I think that this is a good spot for the Bears. Are you on the same page here, or are you looking at the other side?
So I don't have a play on this game either, and I probably wouldn't be touching this game normally either, but yeah, I think you've broken that down well there. Who is the public not really big on here? The Bears, or are they really not big on Justin Fields? You know, because they opened as a minus 5.5 point favorite. It's since come down a little bit, or closer to around -3. But yeah, the Lions defense is awful, as you said. Jared Goff is also struggling on offense. The defense is allowing 31.7 points per game. The Bears, this is another defense that was supposed to be really good. Usually every year, that's a strength of the Bears, but they're allowing 25.7 points per game. But yeah, as you said, this is a home game. This is a good bounce back opponent to do it against. The Lions always play better at home than they do on the road. In fact, the Lions are 3-8 against the spread, their last 11 on the road here. So I would sort of lean to the over in this one. I know that neither has been putting up a lot of offensive numbers, but hey, these are two teams that they can put up, finally put up some points against these two terrible defenses. So I lean to the over, and I also like that Bears money line pick, as you said, because that line's come down. And so, there's value there on that, I think, as well. So, good call on that one.
Yeah, and one side I like to look at for tickets, I'm seeing 73% of the tickets and 57% of the money on the Lions here, which is showing that now that the line's gotten to where it is, the sharper money is more on Chicago here, because only 27% of the tickets, 43% of the cash here on the Bears. So I believe the Bears are the sharper side in this spot as well. And personally, I had this game lined at Chicago Bears -5.5. So definitely that line movement did create some nice value on the spot. So that's why I was looking more towards the Chicago side in this one. All right. The Bears. Yep, Tim, the Bears. But moving on, this one was a game that I was looking at all week long, just never to place a bet on it. The New York Jets are hosting the Tennessee Titans in this one. Titans down to a 6-point favorite in this game, around a +225 run back here on the New York Jets, a total of 44.5. Is there any spots you're looking at with this game?
I actually have a play on this game. I have a play on the total, so I'll steer clear of that one. And let's look at this from a situational standpoint here. The Jets, and here, just let me bring up some information on the Titans and Jets here. So Tennessee, who does Tennessee play next week is what I wanted to quickly check here.
I believe they play I want to say the Jaguars. I'm not sure, though.
They're at Jacksonville. Tennessee, doesn't have anything to look past here. This is a favorable 2-week schedule here for it. And so again, we talked about teams that are in the NFC East. The Jets are also in a relatively weak division there with Miami as well. And so my initial thoughts here are that I really do like the total, and I do have a play on that over there. At 0-3, this is going to be Zach Wilson's final attempt here to avoid the 0-4. The end of the season, they would have to start planning. The odds of even making the postseason at 0-4 are virtually nil. So, but I'm afraid I'm not sure. No matter who Zach Wilson has in here, or no matter what or who they're playing, that the Jets can actually win a game anytime soon. I would lean to Tennessee here for sure. This is a 2-game stretch after that slow start. Tennessee's really come on. They won that important game in Seattle, and they've looked great since then. I know that they have a couple injuries coming in to this weekend, but as I said, I don't think that's going to matter. I know one of our picks for the CERC is on Tennessee. And so, I'm going to roll with Tennessee here as my video pick here for you on your show.
Yeah, this was one of those games where if I was not in the circuit contest, I would be having a bet it would have been at 7.5 when I liked it with the Jets and on the money line in this game. Especially with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones being out. Also, Bud Dupree is not going to be playing on that defense. Yes, I understand this is a Jets team, but this is another one of those spots where this is probably the most uncomfortable I've been with a circuit pick all season long. I'll say that now. I'm not a fan of the Titans in this spot. The Titans really have a poor defense as well. I believe they're 25th in the league in points allowed per game.
True.
And usually I don't want to go lay 7-6 points on the road with a team with a defense that bad and coming in with injuries to one of your best linebackers in Bud Dupree. You have two of your best wide receivers. Now I understand you still have the best running back in football, and this is still the New York Jets. So this is still a spot where, though, if it was still at 7.5, I would probably be hammering the Jets in this spot. I think that the Jets, this is another one of those teams, kind of like the Bears I mentioned earlier. Everybody's down on the Jets, rightfully so. The team sucks this year. There's no sugarcoating. The Jets are not going to be doing anything this year. And Zach Wilson is still a work in progress. But this would be a play on the Jets here if I wasn't part of the circuit contest. I'm staying off this game, though, in general. The Tennessee Titans should win this game. They probably will win this game. I'm just worried about whether or not they'd be able to cover the spread in this game is what I'm truly worried about. Honestly, if the Titans coming into this game should just have the game plan of hike the football and hand it to your running back and let Derrick Henry run for 45 times this game and just run all over this Jets team. The Jets defense is not as bad as people think, though. So this would be a lean towards the Jets for me, if anything, as ugly as that sounds. And I feel like there's just value on the Jets in this spot. I had this game back when it was 7.5. I had this game power ranked at Titans -6, but I'd probably bump that down a little bit after those A.J. Brown and Julio Jones and Bud Dupree injuries. So this is a banged up Titans team that I'm not particularly inclined to want to lay 7-6 points on the road with, even against the Jets.
Fair enough.
Heading over to the chat real quick. Yeah, that's a true Jets fan right there. Jets suck. Yeah. A.J. Brown is out and Julio Jones, but it ain't nothing. Tennessee will cover and dominate. Yeah. As a Jets fans, I want to see this go our way, but Titans outclass. Yeah, I'm not super high on the Titans this year. I feel like they were an overvalued commodity coming into the season. They're like, oh, they got Julio Jones and whatever, and now they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. I still think this team's a couple years out, and they need to improve that defense.
Yeah, it does seem like the defense has taken a step back.
Yeah, definitely.
In the early going. I mean, they could probably pad their stats here this weekend. But yeah, I mean, Wilson will give his best shot here to avoid that 0-4.
Yeah, but giving the Titans some credit here, they did go against Kyler Murray and that really good Arizona offense. They did go against Seahawks and Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf. They have had some decent opponents they have gone up against. And we're looking at a Jets team that has put up 14-6-0. But this is a team coming off of a shutout loss, which I think there's some really strong trends behind teams come off of shutout losses.
Yeah,
I forgot where I saw this, but I think it was since like 2017 or 16, teams off of 0 points the previous week cover the spread like 65% of the time. It's actually a really good spread. I mean, the Dolphins were an example of that last week, and they cover the spread. So this is just one I'm extremely uncomfortable with the Circa pick. Other than that, that's the reason I stayed off this game completely. I think that teasing up the Jets could be an option as well. Good morning, CSN. Titans will win 34-3, and that could be a very well possibility. I hope that happens because I want to see our Circa contest do good. But I'm just uncomfortable at that point. Thoughts on the under? Personally, I think the under could be in definite if I could speak, a definite possibility in this one, especially I think the Titans will be able to run the ball a little bit, and we all know how good that Jets offense is. So I think the under is definitely a look in this one. Tim's definitely agreeing there. They've scored 20 points in 3 games, and the offense likes to finish drives with field goals. Yeah, that's generally not a way to finish drives if you want to win football games. But we'll move on to the next game here. The Cleveland Browns are at the Minnesota Vikings in this one. This one's an interesting one. The Browns are only 1-point favorites here on the road against the Vikings here, a total of 51.5 in this game. And looking at these Vikings, I've been on them. I feel like I've been on them almost every week. I had them week 1. I didn't have them against the Cardinals, but I did have them against the Seahawks last week. And I want to jump on them again this week, and I actually did in one way, shape, or form. But looking at this game here, I do like the Vikings team total over 25.5. I expect them to get some offense in this game. And I have a feeling that this is one of those games where Vikings games are often they're trap games. Because last week, they were 1 or 2 point dogs against the Seahawks, and I felt like everybody I saw on Twitter and YouTube were all over the Seahawks. I'm seeing the exact same thing this week. Everybody loves the Browns. I like the Vikings in this spot. I feel like this is a spot where you're going to see some offense in this game. So I would lean also a little bit towards the over in this game, but I'm on the Vikings team total over 25.5. I expect some offense here with Minnesota. Are you looking similar spots here?
I am actually, and I think you broke it down well there. Non-conference matchup. Sort of who does this one mean more to? I think, and it definitely means more to Minnesota at 1-2. Cleveland's 2-1. As you said, it seems like the public's really high on Cleveland this weekend. Cleveland's at the Chargers next weekend, so it's sort of a look-ahead game, sort of a trap look-ahead game here to another conference opponent that's one of the top in their conference. Now, Minnesota, has quietly been getting better each week, has been looking better. So, I would definitely lean to Minnesota, and I also like your breakdown there on the over. I think this is sort of a trap here for Cleveland, and so I like Minnesota and the over as well.
Yeah, this is definitely a spot. Plus, they're also getting Dalvin Cook back for this game. Now, granted, I know Alexander Mattison did have a really nice game last week in Cook's replacement as Cook's backup, really. And he came in, and I believe he had the second most rushing yards all week last week, other than Derrick Henry. So this Minnesota team definitely has definitely really nice offense. Even on a running game too, my bad. As well to back up, even without Cook, they have a really nice run game. So I definitely see the Vikings being very competitive in this game. Back to the chat here. We like to kind of look over the chat here in between games. Vikings are trap games. Well, Mina likes the over. Yeah, I can definitely see the over. I like the weapons that the Vikings have on offense. Kirk Cousins is a serviceable quarterback. And then you have Cook and Madison on running backs. You got Thielen and I forgot the other player they had. That was a really nice running back. I mean, this is a decent offense in Minnesota for sure. Tim is on the other side. He's on the Browns. I feel like that's just a trap spot. Vikings, I always bet the over. Yeah, I think the over is definitely a nice spot here. Marco's asking Tim, 2 Wnba games today. What's your thoughts on the sides and totals? We're on my brother did respond to that. We're on Connecticut and Phoenix today for those 2 games. Lane says the over looks good in that game. Yeah, I definitely agree. Nathan saying Browns +5 and a teaser. One thing when I do tease games is I don't tease past 0. I don't tease through 0 because even though ties, I mean, if you look on the ESPN app, they always say 0.3 and 0.4% chance of a tie. I'm not really wanting that to be one of the numbers I'm teasing through. Usually if I am teasing, I'm trying to go from 1, 1.5 to 2.5 up to 7 to
you want to go through some key numbers.
And then trying to go from 8.5, 7.5 down towards a pick 'em. That's usually the spot you want to go through when you're teasing. If you're teasing a dog, you want to go through 3 go up through +3 and +7. You're teasing a favorite, go down through 7, down through 3. That's the best way you can do it. I believe those are called Wong teasers. Those are usually give you the best chance at winning some teasers there. There's definitely a right way to doing it in NFL. And in college football, if you want to tease, don't. The results are way too wide for teasers to really work in college. Hey, Nick. Hey, Dad. How are you doing?
And avoid doing side and total on the same game most times.
Yeah. I mean, I usually only tease sides. I'm right now really looking at NFL. I'm only really looking at sides. The way I handicap, I don't really handicap for totals right now. I'm just trying to focus down on sides, and I feel like that's just the best way for me to be able to hit some plays that I look more at sides than I do totals. But looking at this next matchup here, it's another interesting one. We have the Colts are at the Dolphins in this spot here. Dolphins are 2.5 points, actually down to 1 point favorites now. So money has come in on these Colts. +120 run back here with Indianapolis. Total of 42.5 in this game. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, the Colts are out to snap a 3-game losing streak. They're averaging 18.7 points per game. The defense is allowing 26.7. So, this transition over to a new quarterback hasn't helped the defense any. That was a real strength of Indianapolis last year. The Dolphins, they're trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but not fantastic either. I mean, so these are 2 teams in a difficult spot here. What are your initial thoughts on here? Maybe you can help me clarify my thoughts on this game.
Yeah, I personally, the only plays I got to on this one was teasing the Colts when I did it, there were 2.5 point dogs up to 8.5. I have them on a few teasers. Other than that, I can see the Colts here at plus 120 being a nice little play because also +1 is at plus 110. So I just go plus 120 in this spot. I can see the Colts. This is another team where, like the Bears and like the Jets and like a couple teams coming up later in the slate, I feel like the Colts are another team that everybody's down on. And the Dolphins are another one of those teams where I feel like I'm seeing everybody on Twitter and everyone on YouTube loves the Dolphins this week. And I'm just not on that side. I particularly do not trust Miami in this season because I'm expecting a regression year from them. They looked amazing last year, but I feel like some of those wins were kind of fluky wins for the Dolphins last year, games where they should have lost games and they end up coming out on top. And I feel like that was kind of a nice record they had when I think they went 10-6 last year, even though they played like an 8-8, 7-9 type of team. I'm just not a huge fan of the Dolphins. They were not a team I was looking particularly to back coming into the season. Definitely lean towards the Colts on the side here. I teased the Colts up in a few teasers. Other than that, that was the only action I have on this one.
Well, what about the total? When you look at that, I mean, it's really low. It's even come down a little bit here. It's at 42. These are two teams that they've struggled to put points on the board, but they're desperate for a victory here. And we've talked about that these two defenses, which were strengths last year, aren't quite so great. And so, so after looking at this a little bit stronger, as I say, I don't have a play on this game. And so I'm sort of looking at it from the way that I look at games. I look at it from a situational standpoint. I look at what they did the week before. I look at relevant trends, and I put all of this information together. These are sort of the things I look at when I'm starting to look at a game. And so, my early thoughts are this total might be a little bit too low. I know that these offenses struggle, but I think that the situation, and it's come down a lot, this number, there could be some value on that over as well.
Yeah, I could definitely see the over in this spot here. If anything, I would be looking at team total for the Colts over 20.5. All you need is 3 touchdowns from them. And we know if Carson Wentz is halfway healthy, he can be pretty dynamic. He
can make some throws, yeah.
He can definitely make some throws. One big question mark for the Colts this year, though, for me is where is Jonathan Taylor? Like, he was this offense last year. He was a decent chunk of it. And now through 3 games, he's only gotten 171 yards on 42 carries. I feel like they need to implement him into their game plan a little bit more, and they've just been struggling to run the ball. Also, Quentin Nelson, one of their star offensive linemen, is out this game. He's going to be on the IR for a little bit, which I think is going to hit their run game a little bit. So that's why I didn't really get to a total in this game as well. I would probably be leaning towards the over, because I feel like 23-20 is a type of game we can see in this one. The only plays I have is teasing the Colts. That's about it.
Fair enough.
All right. Moving on to the next game here. But first, let's take a look over the chat. I see 9 notifications for the chat. Alfonso Scott says 7-point teaser, Panthers plus 11.5. Panthers are a team I did tease a little bit, and the Seahawks plus 9.5. I can see that they definitely do play the Niners close.
Yeah, that's
this one
pretty strong.
Omar's on the Colts plus 2.5. I don't hate it. It's at 1 now in my book. At that point, I'll just take the money line. Anything 2.5 or lower, I'll just look more at the money line. Danny Daniels says, happy Sunday. Any WNBA predictions? I believe we posted those up in the chat earlier. Phoenix and Connecticut. Jacoby Brissett revenge game. That's right. He was a Colt after Andrew Luck retired.
That's a good angle.
Pass. Yeah, there you go, Tim. That's a spot here. A source said that the Colts will bench Wentz if they go 0-5 or 0-6. I feel like they brought in Wentz potentially to turn it around because they were kind of desperate once they lost Phillip Rivers. And you didn't really want Jacob Eason as your starting quarterback. So at that point, I guess they get to keep the draft pick if they do. Stay away from me. Yeah, Dolphins is a lean. All right. And no way backing Wentz. I feel like if you're getting 8.5 though, I can tease the Colts. That's about it though. Moving on here, this is an interesting matchup. I like this one. I don't have a play on this one particularly, but Carolina Panthers are at the Dallas Cowboys in this one. Cowboys are a 4-point favorite in this game now, around a plus 175 run back here on the Panthers. Total 51.5 in this game. And we're seeing this Panthers team. They're surprising me a little bit here. I thought they were going to be decent and improved defense, but 3-0 to start the year. They definitely have looked better than I expected there. 24-9 win in their last game against the Texans on Thursday night. They took care of a Saints team that absolutely looked like a world beater in week 1. In week 2 there, it's 26-7. And then they beat the Jets 19-14. So 2 of their wins are against, well, not great teams with the Texans and the Jets. But still, they're 3-0. Sam Darnold, he's doing what he needs to do to keep this team in their games. And it's amazing what happens when Adam Gase is not your head coach. And on the other side, the Dallas Cowboys are one of those teams that they're doing better than I expected them so far in the season. They played super close. They could have easily have won that opening night against the Buccaneers if it wasn't for the last-second field goal. They won on a last-second field goal against the Chargers. And then last week on Monday night was a super easy casher here with the Cowboys against the Eagles, 41-21, where they looked absolutely dominant in that game. Now heading into this one here, we have the Panthers, a 4-point dog, and it would be a lean towards the dog for me. It's a dog or pass type of spot, even though Dallas has looked really good in this season. This is a spot where the Panthers are coming in on extra rest. They played Thursday night last week, and this is a Dallas Cowboys team. They played Monday night, so you're getting a short week for Dallas. You're getting a longer rest time here for the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm in hockey mode now. Carolina Panthers. It would be a lean towards the dog in this one. I do have the Panthers on a couple of teasers, going from 4 up to 10. So I think that's a nice little spot for them there to keep it relatively close. I like Sam Darnold and the way that they put this offense around him now. The defense for Carolina is good enough where Sam Darnold doesn't have to be the entire team like he was in New York. And that's just not the type of style of quarterback that Sam Darnold plays. So for me in this one, it's a lean towards the Panthers. I have them on a couple teasers. I would have rather had them at 5.5 in this game, like they opened up earlier in the week. They have been bet down a little bit, but I totally agree with that. So for me, it's Panthers or nothing in this game. Maybe a team total spot for them.
Yeah, good breakdown there, obviously. And Sam Darnold has, this is sort of his revenge season or something going on here that New York didn't give him any faith. I don't have a play on this game as well. I always sort of lean to the underdog no matter what here. But yeah, I'm looking more at the total. I was a little unsure about the total on this one. I was leaning originally to the under because I just think that the last thing that Carolina wants to do is to sort of turn this into a track meet with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Instead, they sort of want to make this a chess match. They want to control the offense while they're on offense, and so they can keep Prescott off the field of play as long as possible. But with Christian McCaffrey out here, you're going to see a lot more of DJ Moore, who already has 285 yards. He's averaging 13 yards per reception. And so, I think that Carolina is going to have to match pace here with Dallas. And so I'm leaning to the over in this one. I just think with McCaffrey out, that Carolina is going to have to sort of change its offensive game plan around a little bit. And so that's what I'm reading here.
Yeah, plus I don't really trust this Dallas defense. There a lot of people are saying, oh, this team's improved. That's on true. Defense. They really haven't. They're just not giving up touchdowns. They're just giving up more field goals rather than touchdowns. But if we look at yards per game, Dallas ranks 26th in the NFL, giving up over 400 yards a game and 23 points a game. And they're going up against a Carolina team who leads the league, only giving up 191 yards a game of offense. And this is a spot where if you do like the over, I feel like team total over 23.5, I believe it is, at -120 for the Panthers would be the way to go. It's not that I don't trust the Cowboys. It's that I do trust this Carolina defense to potentially keep the Cowboys in check, because all you got to do is really slow down the passing game. And Zeke's not looked too great. I mean, he looked good last week against Philadelphia, but he's been kind of empty this year. It feels like the first few games of the season where he was shut down by the Buccaneers, and he didn't do much against the Chargers. He did have a little breakout game last one, but I feel like this is a spot where you can see the Panthers be able to slow down this Cowboys offense a little bit with that defense. I really do like that defense in Carolina. All right, let's go back to the chat here. There's the one we're starting with. How about them boys? Yeah, no. Cowboys -2.5 at -130. I don't hate that. You're getting it under the 3. So I can see the Cowboys winning this game. Kind of like a 27-24 type of game. So potentially something along those lines. I definitely do see the Cowboys can win this game. Robbie Anderson over 49.5 yards. We haven't seen too much from Robbie Anderson so far this year, though. I don't know what's going on with him, but he hasn't been what he was or what we were expecting him to be, considering he's playing with his old teammate from New York and Sam Darnold now. Anthony Brown is a barbecue chicken. Okay. Took AB, Mike Williams, and Rager yards over week 1 through 3, all 3 cash. I'm going to keep riding. Sounds good. Yeah, no Christian McCaffrey, but Chuba Hubbard's going to be in his place. I'm not saying he is Christian McCaffrey, but I don't mind Chuba Hubbard in the spot. Plus, it's the Cowboys defense, so I'm not expecting too much from that. Cowboys and Panthers under, potentially. That the total is really a lean for me, though. I didn't really get involved in this game. NBA preseason tonight, we got one game, Nets and Lakers, of course. LeBron, Melo, Russ, and all the older stars sitting out of the game. Yeah, it's NBA. That sounds like a regular season game. Don't bet preseason. Yeah. Tim saying this is Carolina's first real opponent. I think the Saints were their first real opponent, and they looked really good against the Saints. So I mean, the Saints, they looked good last week against New England. Yeah, I mean, I was leaning Carolina. I didn't get around to betting it, but yeah, I think Carolina's looked pretty good this year. They're 3-0 against the spread. Eagles ran the ball 3 times. Not buying the Dallas hype. Penalties also caused. Yeah, I mean, Cowboys are still a team that the jury's still out on the Cowboys. We're still waiting to see what Dak's going to truly look like. I want to see what the Cowboys do against a good defense here in Carolina. So that's why I stayed off this game. This is a card that I didn't have too many like straight bets on. I have a lot more teasers than I do straight bets, but right. This is definitely a card where it's kind of a tread easy card for me, even though I do have a decent amount of plays.
Yeah.
Next matchup here, the New York Giants are at the New Orleans Saints in this one. Talking about the Saints, they're 7-point favorites in this game. 7.5 now. It moved up on my book, but at a +110. Around +270 run back here with the Giants. Total of 42 in this game. I know we have one of our circa picks for this one is the New York Giants. Are you looking towards that direction?
Well, as you said, we can't really go against our circ picks here. Just for the mojo and all that. And so I actually have a play on the total in this one, so I can't really touch on that one too deeply either. But yeah, let's go with the Giants. Let's say that the Saints that opening win that they had there against
Green Bay.
Yeah. So that was a weird game there because that was not played in New Orleans. That was actually played in Jacksonville. Because of Hurricane Ida. That's a notoriously difficult spot to play in and to get to. And so that sort of threw a monkey wrench into Green Bay's travel plans and everything else off the field. And so, yeah, perhaps the Saints aren't quite as good as they appear on paper. And we just don't quite know yet after so much change in the offseason there, especially at the quarterback position. So, yeah, I'll roll with our circ pick there. I'll go with the Giants.
Yeah, this was one of those, just like the that Titans pick earlier. This is a spot where if it wasn't for a circa pick, I would be on the Saints in this game. I had this game power ranked around Saints -10.5. I think that the Giants are not a good team this year, and Daniel Jones loves to treat the football like it's a hand grenade. That's a huge problem. He has obvious turnover problems. We've been saying this since he's been in the NFL. I wasn't a huge pick of Daniel Jones coming out of the draft. I was looking more for a defensive player that draft as a Giants fan personally, and I'm not a fan of this Giants team. I would lean towards the Saints. I'm not betting it, obviously, because I'm not going to be fading our circa pick in this one. I can also see a potential over in this game. I mean, the total is only 42, and the Saints, I think, could put up some points in this game. Jameis Winston, he has definitely matured as a quarterback since having a year under Drew Brees. It's a totally different mentality out of Jameis Winston. The only problem is, and I saw a couple videos this week where one channel I like to watch, they put up a compilation of week by week and an analysis of Jameis Winston. And after the first week, they're like, this guy, he might be a good starting quarterback, and he might be a much better version of himself. After week 2, man, I don't know if this guy has the mental ability to be in the NFL. And to Jameis Winston is the ultimate wild card of the NFL, I feel. Whether you're going to get a really dominant, looks like he should have been the first overall pick, Jameis Winston.
Or real overreaction to whatever his performance is, either way.
Or you're going to get the Baker of Jameis Winston, who is serving up turnovers all day. This is definitely a spot where I didn't get involved in this game. If I had to, I'd probably go with the Saints in this one. Not anymore at 7.5, though. But I did have this game priced more towards 10.5. Rather than the 7. I believe this line did open up at 9.5, and it was immediately bet down to 7.5 and 7s. So I'll go with the circa pick here at the Giants. I'm not betting it though. I hope it cashes, and I hope I'm wrong. But this is a spot where I'm just worried about this Giants team heading into New Orleans here, especially seeing that this is the Saints' first home game of the year. True home game that's not in Jacksonville, which I remember hearing that Jacksonville location was picked for a reason. So it was more difficult for Green Bay Packer fans to get there. It was more difficult for Green Bay Packers to get there. It was more of a strategic pick because they could have picked any other stadium. They specifically chose Jacksonville. So yeah, this is definitely a strategic move for that one. So yeah, it would be a lean towards the Saints in this one. I'm not going to be betting this game. I probably lean towards the over. You can get the Giants team total over 17. I think potentially you could see some scoring for New York here. But overall, I'm going to stay off of this one.
All right.
Heading back to the chat here. Let's see. I'm trying to find where we left off. Danny Dimes, 10-4 ATS on the road. Yeah. I mean, that's where he has good numbers is as a road dog.
That's true. Yeah.
Giants, they'll lose by 10 plus, maybe. Over on the overs the pick potentially. I could see 7, or at the very least look at the Giants team total 17. Hearing sharp people on the Giants, yeah, I can definitely see that. They'll lose. Giant might lock in Saints at -9.5 at plus 125. That's kind of bold. Okay, our stream's good now. We got our suppness from Lex Steele. We can move on now. Saints by 14 and the under. Is that Nick? Yes, we are both Nick. This is Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room. Tim is not available today, so we had to call in a special guest. But moving on here, this one I'm personally going to sit out on. You can give your opinions on this one. This is my best bet over on Picks and Parleys. It's the Kansas City Chiefs at the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. The Chiefs are 7.5-point road favorites in this game, plus 270 run back here with the Eagles. Total 54.5. Are you looking at anything in this game?
This is a difficult one. I don't have anything on this game. One thing I wanted to point out about the Chiefs, really interesting, that they have eclipsed their season win total, their team season win total, 8 seasons in a row coming into this year. And so now at 1-2, I don't know exactly what it was, but each year it's got higher, their win total, and they've eclipsed it every time. And so I would have to think that it's at least the same as it was for them last year. And so, I mean, obviously that's in jeopardy at this point if you, again, bet the over team win totals there. Yeah, I mean, I think that the majority of public money is on Kansas City for a big bounce back here. It's 0-3 against the spread. I mean, at some point that streak's going to end, but it's playing an equally as desperate Philly team here. It's hard to get a read here on Philly and their rookie quarterback, who's looked really good at times and really pedestrian in others. I would look at this total. The Philly struggled to put points on the board there last week. Kansas City's defense has not been great this year. This is another team where its defense really improved the last few years. Is one of the reasons why Kansas City has done so well. And so far in the early going, that hasn't been the case. And so I kind of think that Kansas City's really going to, every week they're all focusing on defense. They're all focusing on the different things they need to. But yeah, this is a game where the defense can bounce back against an Eagles offense, which has really struggled. And so I'm my early thoughts here, or now that I'm really looking at this game, is I would be leaning to the under.
Fair enough. And yeah, I'm going to stay off of this one because this is my best bet. This is my circa pick for the group. So we usually don't go over that one. So we'll move on here.
Sure.
To the widest spread game. Actually, we're going to go to the chat first, and then we'll go to this one. So Anthony D says, "Let go. Let's win, Knicks. Hopefully we will, because yesterday wasn't great." Wnba is saying Chiefs in the under. Oh, snap. This is our first. Hello, Mr. Parsons. The Nick at Night show in effect.
Nick squared.
Yeah, right. Let's see. This week's lines kind of suck. A lot of passes. 1-800-GAMBLER, but can still find a little value. Week 2 is the best yet. But yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really think we've had a game where I could be able to go and press this button.
Stop it. Get some help.
Unfortunately, I think the closest we've had to that one is either the Falcons game or the Lions game. But that's more of a baseball
just a terrible game.
Yeah, that's more of a baseball button for right now. KC is 1-13 against the spread in their last 14 games. I would never lay 7.5 with a team that is the 32nd ranked defense. Lean Eagles for Alphonso Scott in this one. But we have the widest spread game so far this season until probably the Bills play the Jets. The Bills are 17-point favorites in this one. If you want them on the money line, you're going to have to lay 1,500 to win 100. Plus 870 run back here at the Texans in the spot. Total of 47 in this game. You looking at anything in this one?
I'm not. It's so hard to get a read on Houston as primarily a situational handicapper. I'm trying to get into the psyche of the team and sort of what it did last week. And you look at the line and what they did against the team. But Houston is going through so much turmoil and change and different things. So those are types of games that I instantly just sort of don't bother even looking at. And so from my process, I have a difficult time coming up with a pick. But I guess I would lean sort of to Buffalo to just sort of smash Houston here and kick this team while it's down. Other than last week, Buffalo hasn't had a fantastic start, and it really sort of got going there last week. So, yeah, my lean there will be to Buffalo to roll over Houston here, maybe 41-7.
Yeah, this is a spot where, it would be a lean towards Buffalo probably for me. I can easily see teasing up the Texans a little bit because, getting more points on more points, that doesn't sound completely horrible there. You can tease them up through 21, and that's another, I guess, kind of good number to tease through.
Would be in college.
The Bills here, I feel like the best thing that happened to them so far this season is losing week number 1. Because it awoke a beast, and especially if you have a ticket, I personally don't, on a Bills season win total, I would love nothing more than them losing week 1 to the Steelers. I personally had the Steelers in that week. And I think that this Bills team is definitely one that's going to show up and look good. Good enough to cover 17 points. I'm not touching 17, even though I did see a stat since 2014, double-digit favorites have covered over 60% of the time. So when you're a double-digit favorite in the NFL, it's for a good reason. You are a vastly improved or
superior team.
Superior, that's the word I was looking for, superior team. So for me, I do have the Texans on a couple teasers just to get extra points on extra points. So it'd be, I guess, a lean towards them. But, the Bills are definitely a very dangerous team. And I think in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking about them being Super Bowl contenders again. And that offense is going to look extremely deadly. So for me, personally, I did not bet a side or a total in this game. I do have the Texans on a couple teasers just to get plus 23 on them. All right, moving over to the chat real quick. I want no part of the Steelers every week. They've killed me in some way, shape, or form. I hate the cheeseheads. And then there's a skip there. 14-point spread. Sheesh. Yeah, I think the Steelers covered it today. It says Alfonso. We'll get to that later. I saw a post saying Watson's out because, alrighty then, Tim. Because he's horny. Yeah, real funny there, Tim. But overall, this game, I'm just gonna that I feel like that was one of the easier passes of the slate. This one, though, is one of my favorite games of the slate, and I know Tim and I disagree on this one. We have the Arizona Cardinals here and the LA Rams, two 3-0 teams heading into the series, into this game, because it's not baseball, where this is not a series. The Rams are 4.5-point favorites in this game, around a plus 180 run back here with the Cardinals, total 54 in this game. And we're getting a Cardinals team here that's looked really good to start the season. You had them week 1 against the Titans as your circa pick. That was a great one there. They got lucky to get out of Arizona or out of Minnesota with a win, and they got by Jacksonville thanks to a pick 6 from Trevor Lawrence. But looking at this game here, I feel like this is a dog or pass type of spot for me here. I had this game power ranked around Rams -3.5. So I do think there's some value here with the Cardinals in this spot. And that's exactly where I went in this game. I like the Cardinals plus 4.5 to keep it somewhat close. And I put a half a unit on plus 180 with the Cardinals. I think that this is a Cardinals team that is vastly improved on the defensive side. Yes, the Rams are a Super Bowl contender. But I was honestly, I personally don't bet futures, but I was looking at Arizona to win the division at 5-1 to start the year. I think this Arizona team is a much, much improved team from last year. Kyler Murray and that offense has looked pretty good so far this season. Not to mention, though, LA on the other side has looked really good as well this year. But the thing is, how much of a season-defining win was that last one against Tampa Bay? To a potential where you're going to see a flat spot here. Yes, I know it's against a divisional opponent in this one, but you just went. You had a huge home game. It was the marquee matchup of the week last week. You took care of business against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Is this a potential flat spot here for the Rams? I do like the Cardinals here, plus 4.5 and plus 180. Are you on the dog in this one? I know you're a dog hunter, or is this one you think the Rams roll?
You know, I thought that last week Arizona's game in Jacksonville would set up as a trap for them because they would be looking ahead to this game here against the Rams. And then they also have the 49ers at home the following week, but they overcame that. They passed that test. They didn't look past, they got past it there. And so, yeah, I'm with you on this one. I as you say, the Rams are coming off the win over the defending champs. Arizona has quietly been getting the job done. We're getting over a field goal worth of points here. Divisional matchups are always the most important, always the toughest. I mean, they usually mean more to the home side. But yeah, the Rams, they look really good. But how good is that Bucs defense anymore this year? It's completely up in the air, that Bucs defense, I think. So yeah, I think that this is good. This is a really tough division, especially the Seahawks are not, they're not going down without a fight. And the 49ers as well. This is a really tough and competitive division. I think it's going to come down to the wire between all of these teams. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm a dog hunter here. I think Arizona does have a legitimate shot at winning this game outright. This spread is just a little bit too large. So yeah, I'm going to grab the points here.
Yeah, I think this game was kind of similar to a couple weeks ago when the Rams played the Colts and they were 4.5-point favorites and they won the game by 3 points. I can see this being a 3-point Rams win again. So I think that the Cardinals are definitely a nice little spot there. You did miss a little bit of line movement. I think they were 6.5 earlier in the week, but I still like the Cardinals in this spot. Under 54.5 here from Alfonso Scott.
Yeah,
I can see a nice little defensive matchup here.
Yeah.
I feel like Tim disagrees with me on almost every game this week. He's on Cleveland. I'm on Minnesota. I like Carolina. He's on Dallas. He likes the Rams. I feel like I disagree with Tim on every play this week. But Alfonso said he took that Cardinals plus 6.5. Looked too good early in the week.
Nice.
He's only taking the total. And then Alfonso, do you think the Steelers win straight up. We will get into that in, I think, just a couple of games here. This stream going a little bit long, but hey, we get a special guest, so it is what it is. We like talking over football, and it's NFL Sunday, and I'm not talking baseball today. So we get to spend an extra couple of minutes here of football. Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers in this one. This line has gone back up to 2.5. It was 1 when I typed out these games. Plus 120 run back here with the Seahawks in this game. Total 52 in this one. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really evenly matched game here between two teams that obviously really need a win. We just talked about how important divisional contests are. We talked about this division specifically. Here we are, Seattle and San Francisco. If Seattle was if it was the 3.5, obviously I would really like Seattle there. No, but I tend to like Seattle here. I think that it has the better quarterback. I don't know, and I would also lean to the under. I just think that this is going to be a tough divisional contest. It's going to be one in the trenches, whichever team can win that battle. So yeah, I'm leaning to the Seahawks, and I'm leaning to the under in this one.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first game we're going to truly disagree on. I'm on the Niners money line in this one. I got them around minus 125, minus 130. And I had this game priced Niners minus 3.5. So I do see some value here with San Francisco in this game. If this was a 3.5, this would be an easy stay off for me here. And I think this is going to come down to the wire. That's why I didn't take the 2.5. I took the money line because I can see this being a 1-2 point Niners win in this game. I'm also looking a little bit towards the over in this one. I don't trust the Seahawks defense at all. They are the worst in the NFL, allowing 440 yards of offense per game. Not particularly something you want to do. I know San Francisco's offense is not potent. It's not a huge thing. I believe we're still waiting on a questionable mark on George Kittle. He's a big one. But I feel like this is a spot here where you can see the Niners put up some points in this game. Their team total for this one, 27.5, asking for 4 touchdowns against one of the league's worst defenses. And I think there's a reason why Seattle's 1-2 this year. Russell Wilson can only do so much, and this defense is not helping him whatsoever. So I am on the Niners here on the money line in this one. I know a lot of people are on the Seahawks. I can see this being a 1-point game or a 2-point game that comes down all the way to the end. So I like the Niners on the money line rather than the minus 2.5. That's where I'm going for this game.
Okay.
All right. Looking over at the chat again here. Tim on the Niners as well. Seattle over 52. I can see it. I mean, I don't trust the Seattle defense at all. Niners under is where Marcos is going here. To be honest, if they're at home, I think they would. I'm going to buy the hook and take them plus. Oh, he's talking about the Steelers. Like over 52 at Seattle. Seattle needs to score, and the Niners will as well. Yeah, I think this could easily be one of those 31-30 type of games. They always play each other tight in the division rivalry. Under. Okay. 6 TD for Wilson against the Niners last year. Is that in both games, or is that just one game?
Must have been both.
Yeah. But moving on here, this is another one that a lot of people have looked at this week. We have 3 games left on this slate. We have the Ravens and the Broncos up next. Ravens 1-point dogs in this one. This one's been flipping back and forth all week long. But it's only gone from like 1.5, 1, and then flipped on the other side, 1.5, 1. Total of 44 in this game. Anything for this one?
I have a play on the side on this one, so I'll steer clear of that. Yeah. What can you say about Denver? I guess you would have to call in if you have any complaint about Denver so far, it's been their strength of schedule. Baltimore, yeah, it had the big win there last week. So, yeah, Denver has looked really great defensively. It's been efficient on the offensive end. Baltimore's defense, though, has not looked fantastic. I think this number is a little bit low. I think, yeah, Baltimore doesn't want to turn this into a chess match where field position sort of determines that it wants to get Denver on its heels, get it out of its comfort zone. which means making it play from behind. And so, yeah, I would lean to the over here.
Yeah, I'm on the same. I'm looking towards that way as well. I think we can see some offense in this game. And with the Broncos here, I mean, they're at home. They're in the Mile High Air, so I guess that's a nice little advantage for them there. But if there's one way I can describe Denver so far, is I think they're fool's gold because their numbers look phenomenal. I mean, they rank number 2 in the NFL in only 221.7 yards of allowed per game. They've only allowed 8.7 points a game, but they've played Jacksonville, they've played the Giants, and they've played the Jets. I mean, almost any team probably can do that against those high school teams. So, I mean, this is a spot where this is a true test for these Denver Broncos. I'm personally staying off this game. I think that if you can get the Ravens at +1 and tease them up to 7, I think that's the play to go with this one. Other than that, I mean, I think this is going to be a close game. I mean, I don't mind Teddy Bridgewater. He's looked really good against the spread. I believe he's 38-13 as a starter against the spread. He's always had phenomenal numbers against the number. But I feel like this is a spot where the Ravens are a better team overall. Yes, they just squeaked by the Lions last week on the 66-yard game-winning field goal. But this is a spot where I think that the Ravens should be able to take care of business in this game against a Denver Broncos team, which the jury's still out on them. I know they're 3-0, but I feel like they're a fool's gold 3-0.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, let's see the chat real quick. Both games. That's what in both games. Broncos first half play for Alfonso Scott, potentially. Ravens as long as Jackson plays. Fair enough.
True. That's he was
Lex
questionable,
Steele,
wasn't he?
Yeah. Lex Steele saying Broncos and over. Omar Ramirez saying over. Mondo. Tim saying Jackson questionable with non-COVID illness. Actually, no back injury. It was illness earlier in the week. Make up your mind, Sam. Get your stuff together there. But here we go. Final 2 games of the day here. I'm going to get a lot of grief on this game. I already know it. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Green Bay Packers in this one. The Packers are 6-point favorites in this one, plus 220 run back here with the Steelers. Total of 45 in this game. Before everyone gives crap to me of what my play is, what's your look on this game?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting game. Of course, Pittsburgh just has not looked fantastic so far in the early going. A huge amount of the public money, I believe, will be on Green Bay here. Yeah, hard to get a read on this one completely. But yeah, I would lean to Pittsburgh here. I think Green Bay has been susceptible to letdowns already this year, but in the past as well, sort of playing down to the level of its competition. Now it's playing a really desperate Pittsburgh team here. I mean, not super desperate at 1-2, but still, they definitely want to avoid the 1-3 there. So yeah, I would be leaning to Pittsburgh there. If you want to add this in one of your teasers, you could get this up over 13 or right up to 13. And so you'd be passing a few key numbers there as well. So yeah, I'm leaning Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you read my mind there with the teaser thing there. The Steelers are like a staple in a bunch of my teasers. And I know I'm going to get crap for this play, but I like the Steelers in this game. I'm comparing the Steelers a little bit to my play with the Bears, my play with the Colts, and I feel like there was one other. No, that's it. But like, I feel like this is a great buy low spot for the Steelers. I had this game power ranked around Green Bay -4, 4.5. So I'm seeing some value here on the line with Pittsburgh. And I took a half unit stab here at plus 220 with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. Last time I did that, they cashed as a pretty decent underdog against Buffalo. And I feel like this is a great buy low spot with Pittsburgh in this game to a point where I can see a potential outright win. We've seen Pittsburgh do this in the past where they play up to their competition and they play down to their competition. And this is definitely a play up spot here. I don't expect Ben Roethlisberger to look this bad the entire season. I'm expecting that more towards the end of the season like we saw last year. But with Pittsburgh here, I mean, this is a spot where I see this game being closer than people anticipate. Teasing this game is one of my favorite games to tease. You can get them through 7, 10, and you can get them up to 12 if you want to do 7-point teaser, 13. And I think that's a nice little spot here. I think this is going to be potentially like a 3-point game at the end, where I can see this being like a 24-21 Packers win, something along those lines. So that's kind of where I'm looking at this game. I like the Steelers at +6 in this matchup.
Agreed.
All right. Over towards the chat here. Lex is on Packers -6.5 in the over. I'm a Green Bay fan, and I know Rodgers at home, but he'll take the Steelers +6. See, that's something that it's interesting when people are like, I'm a fan of this certain team, and you'd pick the other side. Now, I don't know if that's trusting you because you're betting against your own team, or if that's a negative bias towards your own team, because I do that sometimes with the Mets, where I'll bet against them and be like, yeah, this team sucks, but I'm a Mets fan, so I can say that. But yeah, Lex Steele says Pittsburgh gets destroyed. I don't think so. I think that this defense can keep them in the game, and I think Ben Roethlisberger is not going to look as bad as he had the last few weeks. So that's definitely a spot here, and I want to see where the public money is on this game, because I know probably, Green Bay is seeing 74% of the tickets and only 63% of the money. So the public is definitely on the Packers in this spot. No surprise about that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do like the Steelers in this spot. Marco saying 25 watching and 16 likes. I know Tim is off, but geez, people in the chat active still. Hit the like button and show some appreciation. Let's do better, people. No shade, Nick. I like you both equally.
No worries.
Appreciate it. Even though you like NHL over NBA. I mean, at least in the NHL, they actually play for 82 games. They play full effort all the games. They don't take games off because, ow, my thumb hurts. I stubbed my toe. I've been watching their games, and I'm not not convincing me lately. Plus, Rodgers looks like he no longer wants to be with the team. The way he's carrying himself. I mean, maybe. But we'll move on to the last game here. This show is already over an hour. This is probably one of my longest shows so far, but we got a good guest that's giving us some good analysts as well. So we'll finish it off here. There's this tiny little game here on Sunday Night Football. I don't know if you've heard this one's going down. We have this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. They're heading into New England. And Tampa Bay has this guy named Tom Brady, and he played a couple years with the Patriots. And this is kind of like a revenge game. What's your look on this one?
I like the Patriots. I think Mac Jones, his numbers haven't been super impressive. Just expectations for these quarterbacks are so ridiculous. It's just unbelievable that they're expected to do so well at such a young age and such an unbelievably difficult thing. So I think he has slowly been getting better. Now, if you look at that's definitely the one position, though, that the Buccaneers, without question, have an advantage over New England. I mean, that's the one position where they have an advantage over every team. Is with Tom Brady, of course. Now, if you look at the other three phases, the offense, the defense, and the special teams, I would argue New England's defense is better and that their special teams is better. Now, Brady had a really difficult time last week against a similar type of defense in the Rams. He was constantly under pressure. And so some of the other competition that they faced, the defense just hasn't been as good. And when they faced this really good Rams defense, well, they lost. And now they're facing another pretty good defense here. I would say almost as good as the Rams, really. So, yeah, I do like as much as Brady really wants to win this game against his former team wants to win just as bad, just as equally against him. And so how much do the Bucs want to win this game as much as Brady? Not as much as Brady wants to win this game. And the entire organization really wants to win this game. There's no question for New England. So I'm going to grab the points here. That's who I like. I like New England on Sunday night. I think this one's going to come down to the wire here. This could be a big game for Jones and for this New England defense. I'm not sure about the total. What are your thoughts on the total? What are your thoughts on this one, Nick?
Yeah, looking at this game, I've heard some people up in New England compare this to a potential Super Bowl game. even though it's a regular season football game. But yeah, this is probably going to be one of the biggest games that New England people are going to watch. I mean, this season, or probably in a very long time since they've been in the Super Bowl. And this is a game where if you think Bill Belichick hasn't been planning for this game since they announced it on the schedule, you are dead wrong in this one. You know that Bill Belichick is going to bring out some unique packages on defense and some exotics just to try to get at his old quarterback. Like, if there's anybody that knows Tom Brady more than Tom Brady, it's Bill Belichick. I mean, this is a spot where he coached him for 20 years, and he knows every little thing he needs to know about Tom Brady. So yeah, plain and simple here. I'm on the Patriots in this one as well. +7. I took a half unit stab here on the money line as well. I think that the Patriots keep this competitive.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. We agree on that final one.
Yes. That's our full slate then. It should be a good slate of football, hopefully, today. So just a quick little recap on your plays, and then you can head on out.
All right, buddy.
Your plays, you like New England +7. You said Minnesota and the over as well. Yep. And then you said Tennessee and Arizona plus the 4.5.
Correct.
Anything else you want to say before you head on out?
Thanks for having me on. This is a long overdue, and perhaps I can come on during the week, and
Absolutely.
Maybe at the end of the year, come on another Sunday show if you need my help. Absolutely. The Insider's Room. Really appreciates you having us on today.
Absolutely. And if you want to check out Nick Parsons, I will probably in the description of the stream put in the Discord link for the Insider's Room. You can also follow him over on Twitter at the Insider's Room. He's also over with me on Picks and Parleys. Insider's Room there as well. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Take care.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
That was a fun show there. But yeah, quick. He had to bounce real quick. But looking at my slate for today, and then we're going to also recap Tim as well. For me, I'm on the Bears here on the money line, -145. I'm on the team total for the Bears as well, over 22.5. We're looking at the Minnesota Vikings team total over 25.5. I like the Cardinals here +4.5 and +180. Half unit plays always on those ones that I have the spread and the money line. Niners -135. Pittsburgh +6 and +220. Patriots +7 and +245. Tim's plays are the Bears -3, the Browns -115. He's on the Cowboys -4. The Rams -4.5, the Niners, the Ravens, and the Patriots as well. Heading over towards the chat here. Tim says, Patriots. Yeah. Brady will plow the Patriots. See, I'm trying to fade all that public money, so I'm not a fan of that. Buccaneers are comparable to Saints. Pats don't give up 20 points. Potentially, yeah. Don't get up to it. Sith Lord Bill Belichick. Yes. To be honest, I would tease 7 points, Pats in the under. The Patriots are definitely a team I have on plenty of teasers today. Them and the Steelers are core pieces to plenty of my teasers here. I'm gonna look more into it though. Yeah. Patriots fan will experience that Washington fans experience epic failure. Potentially. Who knows? Amazing show. Appreciate it. And there is the Insider's Room YouTube channel as well. You guys can subscribe to him. Nick Parsons, we do appreciate having him on. Says, Nick, you are right, bro. They do take every day. Other day off the Stars. You don't know who's out until 5 minutes before. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that's going to just about wrap it up for this show. We want to thank you guys as always for watching. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified whenever we go live here on ESB, which is every single morning, 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Earle Sports Bet Show. That's going to just about wrap it up for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching. And good luck as always today.